Going on, everyone? Rui Hachimura was fantastic for the Lakers this year. From the moment we picked him up, he really just hit the ground running. He did have a little stretch towards like the middle of his season with the Lakers, in which he kind of fell out of the rotation a little bit. But even Rui Hachimura credited that to kind of his resurgence towards the end of the season and then especially into the playoffs, that he was able to kind of sit back, work on his game, work on what he needed to, and he was fantastic for the Lakers. I mean, in the playoffs, dude, the guy was like 60% from three, just dominating on so many levels. He was one of our best players and one of our most consistent players pretty much throughout, right? I mean, it's like every series he would have like 2 or 3 games where he just really was just putting up 20 points, great numbers, great stats. Defensively was fantastic. He even seemed to improve defensively over the course of the playoffs. And his ability to guard bigger players because he's just so physical, big, and strong. He's a guy that has so much value for the Lakers for now and the foreseeable future, right? This is a guy that I'm sure I'm not alone in saying this. We would love to see be retiring a Laker. He's a guy that has so much potential. That mid-range is just butter. And if he can consistently develop that three-point shot to the level, not entirely to the level of the playoffs, because again, he shot like an insane percentage from three in the playoffs. But if he could be like, a 37% three-point shooter, a 38% three-point shooter, watch out, because this guy, you're talking a legit 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, 3-level scorer that can defend multiple positions, that can guard bigger players. He was huge against like Karl Anthony Towns. He was huge against Nikola Jokic. Even though they lost series, still his ability to even just be able to defend him went a long way. And the 33 games that he played for the Lakers, he averaged 22 minutes per game, and gave us about 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, zero point 0.2 steals, 0.4 blocks, shot 72% from the free throw line. Although a lot of that was because he started off rough from the free throw line. He had like a game, like a 3-stretch game or something like that, where he like only made one of like 7 free throws or something like that. So that really knocked down his percentage. But towards the back half and then into the playoffs, again, he really fixed his shot. And we'll dive into that here in a minute. But for the regular season, his numbers weren't fantastic for the Lakers. He did shoot almost 50% from the field in total, but his three-point shot was around 30% for us. But look, this is a guy who he has shot 45% from three from the field. And when you look up his playoff stats and you see what he's been able to do with his shot, and the idea of like, okay, well, it can translate to the regular season. And now, because of the adjustments he has made to his shot, because he has, again, we'll dive into that here in a moment, I do believe that it'll translate this season. But all that being said, there is a possibility that the Lakers could lose Rui Hachimura. Now, the Lakers can match whatever contract they want to, or whatever contract Rui is offered. The Lakers have the ability to match. They have his bird rights, and so they could go over the cap. They could offer, if somebody offers him the max deal, he could get a max deal. Now, originally, he was only supposed to get somewhere in the 8 to 10 million range, but after his playoff performance, he's easily getting more than that. My guess is somewhere in like the 12 to 15 range, but it wouldn't surprise me if one of these teams with cap space decides, hey, let's throw 20 million plus at Rui Hachimura, or 18 million, something like that, and really kind of raises the price on the Lakers, or maybe even just raises the price just to get the Lakers to match, because that would give them less money to work with. So the Lakers do have a point based on recent reports in which supposedly they will let Rui Hachimura walk. So according to Jovan Buha of The Athletic, provided the latest on Wednesday, Rui Hachimura is priority 1B for the Lakers behind Austin Reeves. Both players are restricted free agents, meaning the Lakers can match any contract sheet they sign with another team. As I reported last week, the Lakers plan to match any offer sheet Rui Hachimura signs this summer, just like with Reeves, but added, but is there a walkaway number for Los Angeles? It feels like 20 million annually. Something in the 4-year, 80 million range is where things might get a bit dicey. Anything at or below 20 million threshold means Hachimura is probably back. So, according to Jovan Buha, the Lakers, if Rui Hachimura is offered $25 million a year or whatever, that they will not bring him back. Basically, $20 million or less, the Lakers will bring him back. So 4 years, $80 million, we got you. Don't worry about it. I don't think he'll get that much, even on the open market. He's 25 years old, so he's still very young. He did come off of an incredible playoff performance, right? So you know he's going to play well in the playoffs, and that's what he's done pretty much his whole career for the playoffs. But up until this point, he's a career average 13-5 guy, right? He's not a guy that is at 25. He's not Jason Tatum, right? Where at 25, he's giving you 25, 8 and 8 a game, you know? Rui Hachimura is, at least at this point, a role player, right? He is a blue chip role player at that, but he's still a role player. He's not a star. He's not an all-star. He's not anything like that. Although my concern is the way that some salaries just kind of get thrown out in this league, I could see somebody maybe pushing it to 20 million. Realistically, he's probably in like a 15 million range. I could see something like 4 years, 60 million, somewhere in that ballpark, just because, again, he is still in many ways unproven. But this is where I wanted to talk about kind of his improvements that we've seen. So Phil Handy has already done wonders with Rui Hachimura from the time that we traded for him to the time that he got kind of into the flow of things leading into the playoffs. In like a month span, Rui went and like completely changed his shot. Not insanely, right? Like if you watched his shot before and you watch it now, if you're not really paying attention, you might not really notice the difference. But Rui Hachimura had a little hitch in his shot. And this was even talked about in one of the games. I don't remember the game off the top of my head, but it was in the Memphis series. It might have been game 2 or something like that. It was one of the games where Rui was killing it. Might have even been game 1 because I think that was his best game in the Memphis series. But in that game, even the announcers talked about it. This is something I've talked about before, not the announcers, but Rui fixing his hitch in his shot. Even the commentator was like, you know, Phil Handy really worked on getting that hitch out of him because he kind of had this like almost stall in his shot. Now you see him, he's catching, gathering, boom, putting it up, right? So I expect him to continue to develop and work with Phil Handy on his shooting. And if that happens, I think you're going to see easily a 15-6 guy. I do. I think Rui Hachimura will also get a bigger role. I think he will play more significant minutes. I could see the Lakers starting him now over Jared Vanderbilt, unless Jared Vanderbilt just develops a quality, reliable three-point shot. But I think Rui Hachimura is very likely going to make that transition to kind of being one of the guys for the Lakers, one of the key components, key pieces. Him and Austin Reeves, I really expect to take a bigger step in the overall scheme of the Lakers next season. Primarily because, one, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you know, you want them healthy come playoffs, so you don't want to have to run them into the ground. Secondly, you know LeBron James and Anthony Davis are both going to miss 30-plus games this season. So, again, Rui's probably going to be heavily relied on. Same thing with Anthony Davis, with Austin Reeves, because Anthony Davis is going to miss. So I do expect we see Rui Hachimura really kind of take those strides and have the ability to really just continue to improve and get better. Again, 25 years old, 6'8", sizable, physical, can hold his own, aggressive, 3-level type scorer, especially if he consistently knocks down that 3-point shot. This is a guy that we saw. I mean, he was a 3-level scorer in the playoffs. He was taking it, driving it to the basket. He was hitting down that mid-range, which is what Rui Hachimura is known for, is the mid-range. And he was knocking down threes left and right. I would like to see the Lakers actually run some plays for Rui, right? I really would. Like, don't just, like, so much of the time Rui's on the court and he's just kind of there, rather than like being a focal point in the offense. I really believe if you give Rui an opportunity to get, because he only averaged 8 field goal attempts per game and he shot 50% from the field. If you give him like 15, I truly believe this is a guy that could get you 20 plus a game easily. Easily. Again, I mean, he gave you 10 points on basically 8 attempts, so double that, there's your 20, right? I mean, even with just what he was able to do, and that's counting like no improvements. I imagine he's going to improve on all facets, right? So Rui Hachimura, I 100% believe could be a 20 point a game guy. He could give you 30 on an occasion. We've seen him do that, right? So I do want to see them kind of make him more of an integral focal point in the offense at times. I'm not saying you have to run all of your offense through him, but set up some plays, run some sets, let him get the ball in his spots, right? Set him up in the mid-range and just let him go to work. You know, put him on the block. Let him go and create for himself. I don't see the Lakers losing Rui Hachimura. I don't see the Lakers. Look, let's say it's 22 million. I don't think the Lakers are going to say, well, we lost 2 million. Like this, our cutoff was 20 million, so 21 or 22. Like, I don't. Rui Hachimura isn't worth 4 years, 100 million. I just don't think he is. I don't really see him getting that. Now, could he develop into that? Sure. But up until this point, he's not yet. Again, I think realistically, take a step back. What we've seen from him over the course of his career so far is he's a 15 to maybe 18 million a guy at the most. You know, if somebody offers him, 72 million, 4 years, 72 million, I wouldn't be shocked about that. Maybe a team like, San Antonio's got to spend a bunch of money. Do they just throw 20 million a year at Rui and go, man, Victor Wembanyama and Rui Hachimura as our 4 and 5 for the next 10 years would be really good? Maybe, but I don't think the Lakers are going to have much to worry about with Rui Hachimura. I think Austin Reeves will get a lot of just attention, just because of his ability to play make and score, and and he was a bit more consistent throughout the course of the season and the playoffs. So I think teams will be kind of going after him. That's the concern. Rui, I think the Lakers are safe. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you care what it is? Pay Rui Hachimura? Do you think that, hey, anything over 20 million, that's a fair cutoff point. He's not worth that. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.